A police officer notices an unregistered vehicle a week after a teenage girl and her soccer coach vanish from sight. Welcome to USA Stories Channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. While there are many things that parents desire for their kids, nothing is more crucial than their safety in the end. To put it plainly, everything else comes second. Parents who know their children are responsible and well-behaved are more likely to unwind, even if they will never be totally free of that persistent worry. It's easy to trust a decent youngster, and 17-year-old Caitlin Frisina of Florida may have felt that way. However, her family was even more horrified by her unexpected action when an odd series of occurrences occurred. Caitlin Frisina, 17, appeared to be leading a typical life growing up in the hamlet of Lake City in northern Florida. Scarlett and Ward, her parents, were well known in the neighborhood, and she was an inquisitive student. They were the owners of Flatwoods Forestry, a nearby business management consulting firm. At Fort White High School, Caitlin studied hard and was a devoted Christian. She was a member of Florida's elite soccer academy and enjoyed playing soccer on the squad at her school. She engaged in several extracurricular activities and routinely qualified for regional championships as a member of the track and cross-country teams. Soccer remained her favorite sport, though. It wasn't just Caitlin who had these feelings in her family. In addition to coaching the girls' soccer team at her school, Caitlin assisted in officiating matches for the Columbia Youth Soccer Association. Despite her hectic schedule, Caitlin never hesitated to provide a hand at the family company, and her parents cherished her kind disposition and amiable demeanor. That's why her disappearance on November 26, 2017 was so surprising. Despite Caitlin's parents not having seen her that morning, there seemed to be no proof that she had been kidnapped. In reality, authorities had good cause to think that at some point the previous evening, the adolescent girl had just walked out of her family's house of her own volition. That seemed to be confirmed by the one pair of tracks outside their house. People started to wonder why Caitlin would do something like that right quickly, but it didn't take them long to get a hint. As it happened, Caitlin had made a visit at an ATM in St. Mary's, Georgia, more than 100 miles away from her own house, to take out $200. She was seen by police on closed-circuit video, CCTV, as she made her way towards the Carolinas in the north. It was discovered then that she was not alone. The man she was with turned out to be Caitlin's high school soccer coach, Ryan Rodriguez, 27. It worsened since her family regarded him as a close friend. Authorities had grown concerned that Ryan and Caitlin were having an illicit connection even before Caitlin's strange disappearance in August 2017, even though they had already determined the two were only pals. Were they mistaken? Scarlett said, "As far as we knew, he was just a friend," to the Lake City Reporter in November 2017. However, Caitlin's pals had a different opinion. They even gave the police a tip suggesting that the connection may have had a romantic component. Nothing was more important to her parents than her coming home. "We love her so much," stated Scarlett, "and it doesn't matter what has happened or where she is. All we're concerned with is her safety." Unsettling material was found on Caitlin's phone, which she had left behind before running from her house while the search went on. Police started looking for Ryan's 2001 Mercury Sable after receiving a string of lewd communications from Ryan. At last, a breakthrough occurred on December 1st afternoon. All the way in Salina, New York, police officer Todd Grant saw a car that looked just like Ryan's, and he even followed the driver into a parking lot to confront him. Ryan was the driver, and right there behind him, seemingly unscathed, was Caitlin. Ryan's plans were made public and he was promptly apprehended. He stated that he had taken a job in Salina and that he was trying to get enough money to buy fictitious documents to bring Caitlin into Canada. It seemed like Ryan thought Caitlin was just as ready as he was to start a new life with him. However, Caitlin's pals weren't convinced. One allegedly told police she didn't know how to get out of it, and if she did, he would mess up her life. Caitlin was reunited with her parents in New York the next day. There was still a lot of work to be done, even though her aunt posted images of the incident online and said it was a lovely moment. Although Caitlin's family was overjoyed to get her back, the police's work was far from done. She's a 17-year-old high school student who I feel was influenced by someone who was in control who was in a supervisory role, and that shouldn't be, a police officer said. For his part, Ryan's story was probably not over happily. Law enforcement even contemplated accusing him with abduction, in addition to the allegations of interfering with child custody. He would also be in considerably more danger if they could establish that Ryan and Caitlin had an improper connection. Given that he was over 23 and Caitlin was under 18, the state's close-in-age exemptions were broken. The most important thing right now is that Caitlin is safe. But the disturbing rate at which young women are exploited persists, and worse, things don't always turn out the way Caitlin's did. Amy Lynn Bradley, then 23 years old, sailed with her family on the Royal Caribbean ship Rhapsody of the Seas on March 24, 1998, with a destination of the Caribbean Antilles Islands. The family couldn't wait to enjoy the pleasant weather and lovely scenery. There were a lot of other travelers aboard the cruise ship, all ready to have a good time. Amy, her mother Eva, brother Brad, father Ron, and sister Eva embarked at San Juan, Puerto Rico, and made their first stop in Aruba. After that, their ship set sail for Curacao. Brad took Amy to a nightclub on the way to Curacao. Amy was the first to go, then Brad. Ron went to check on his sleeping daughter around 5:30 a.m. At 6 in the morning, he came back to rouse her. Ron was shocked to see Amy had vanished from sight. Ron saw that Amy's bed was vacant and became frightened. In the 30 minutes, where could his daughter have gone? He told Brad what had happened the night before right away. Before he departed, Brad told his father that he had seen Amy dancing with a man known as Yellow, Alistair Douglas. He played in the band Blue Orchid, which was having a show at the club that evening. Is it possible that he was involved in Amy's disappearance? Ron and Eva reported Amy's unexpected abduction to the cruise ship officials right away. They begged them not to dock the ship because they thought someone would get away. Regretfully, the request was turned down by the crew and the ship arrived at Curacao on schedule. Authorities searched the ship when it was docked, but they found nothing. The last man spotted with Amy, Alistair, was even questioned by police, but not enough evidence was found to hold him. The fact that so many of the passengers had left the ship before the search was over infuriated the family. Amy's assailants might have simply fled if she had been taken. Amy was immediately placed on the missing persons list by the police. The matter was publicized around the island of Curacao, and her family fervently hoped that someone would come forward with any information. Although there was no proof to back up the theory, authorities speculated that Amy may have gone overboard after leaving the club while inebriated. The Bradleys were upset and had to go back home without their daughter, since they didn't know where Amy was. Amy's parents were convinced she had been taken, even though there was no proof to back up their belief. Brad saw that she appeared to receive more attention from the cruise ship staff while she was at the club. The community came together to support the Bradleys once they returned home and utilized every avenue at their disposal to inform the public of what had transpired. Ron and Brad traveled back to Curacao shortly after they got back to continue looking for Amy. The men plastered flyers of Amy all over the island. $260,000 was up for grabs for anyone who could locate her for them. Surprisingly, a taxi driver on the island informed the men within a day that he had seen Amy in a panic just after the Rhapsody of the Seas landed. According to reports, she bolted from his car after asking where the closest phone was. Now her family was certain she was still in Curacao. Ron and Brad searched the entire island with the assistance of the local police. Amy was nowhere to be located, despite their searches of every beach, store, and motel. They were really disappointed and upset that they had to go back home without Amy. As additional witnesses came forward with their accounts of seeing Amy, the Bradley family's conviction that she had been abducted grew stronger. They were afraid she was being detained against her will in the Caribbean. 2 Canadian visitors to Curacao thought they saw Amy strolling down the beach in one such sighting. The lady they saw was covered with tattoos of a gecko lizard on her navel, a sun on her lower back, a Tasmanian devil spinning a basketball on her shoulder, and a Chinese sign on her right ankle. In a separate encounter, David Carmichael reported seeing a woman who fit Amy's description strolling along the beach with 2 guys at her side. David said that as she went up to him, the males pushed her off. The Bradley family requested that the area of the claimed encounter be searched by the local police, but they turned up nothing. Amy was apparently seen inside a Curacao brothel by another man who served in the Navy. He said that a lady named Amy Bradley approached him and asked for assistance, but that the personnel of the brothel soon took her away. The sailor delayed calling the police since he wasn't supposed to be at the brothel. Since then, the brothel has burnt down. Amy may have been spotted in a Barbados restroom once more. The woman seemed scared, and a visitor named Judy Moorer claimed to have seen her, but Judy hurried away, and she was never seen by Judy again. Then, in 2005, pictures of a lady in skimpy clothing who was purportedly the Bradley family's daughter were supplied to them by an unidentified source. The family viewed the photos as proof that Amy had really been coerced into sexual slavery, despite the fact that detectives were unable to locate the original source. The Bradleys are hoping that Amy will eventually come home thanks to all of these leads. They employed a Curacao-based private investigator, and he set out to locate her. The family will continue to cherish her memories and think about her every day till he returns. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.